If you're trying to follow advice, but that advice is stopping you in your tracks, it's not for you. At least not yet. So think about the goals that you're trying to accomplish and the advice that you're taking on. And it might be good advice. You might have told yourself, hey, this is really good advice. I should follow this. But if that advice, despite it being good, is causing you to lock up, it's causing you to not move towards your goals faster, then forget it. Just do without it. I was putting some collagen peptides in here. I actually don't know what this is, but I will put it in. Seems like just another protein. How much am I supposed to put in here? But I was trying to follow advice on making videos, increasing engagement and stuff like that. But I realized that doing that actually hurt me in a way, because I stopped making videos entirely because there were a lot of times I would just not be in the mood to take on that advice, use the advice in the way that it was given, right? So for engagement, you got to talk in a certain way. You got to do certain things at certain times and talk about certain things in your video. Make sure you touch upon those points. And it's a lot to take in, you know? And so I was trying to take on this advice, and it just wasn't working for me, simply because trying to do the advice narrowed or elevated my threshold for what is required to make a video. And so because of that, because I increased my threshold, I ended up making fewer videos. I ended up recording, or actually I recorded the same amount, but now I just, oh, that video is not good enough. This video is not good enough. It raised my standard without raising the quality of the video, if that makes sense. So it raised the threshold, but it didn't help me. And so it stopped me in my tracks, right? And so there is a certain way to take the advice where it would be helpful. If it caused me to take more action, that would be nice. And I'm sure there was a certain way I could have received that advice where it would have caused more action, would have generated more action, and that would have been great advice. But for me, it didn't. And that's okay. It's even as I'm talking now, I realize it's a mindset thing. And so because I'm not taking on the advice with the right mindset, I'm just going to drop it. Just drop the advice. It's okay. And what's funny is I'm talking to you now, and actually now that I've dropped the pressure of having to follow that advice, having to follow that kind of, the requirement, now it's actually easier for me to do that. I'm actually succeeding in following that requirement, even though I literally told myself, just drop it. Don't worry about it. It's kind of weird. Kind of interesting. Anyway, got a little protein shake. I'm going to drink this up real quick. Good. I've identified 3 types of advice, or 3 ways that advice can be received. The advice can be good in all 3 scenarios. It just depends on how you receive it. So it can either stop you in your tracks, so you just stop completely. That's very much not working towards your goals. It can either inspire you but keep you weak, not develop you as a person, or it can inspire you to take more action and actually build you up. So the first 2, whether it stops you in your tracks completely, now you're taking less action, right? Or no action at all. That's definitely not good. That's advice that it might be good for some people, but you haven't received it in a way that's helpful for you. So just drop it, right? If the advice is something that you like, it helps you do more, but it's not the right advice, it's actually going to keep you weak. Like if it's the kind of gimmicky advice, let's say for artists where, oh, I don't know what kind of gimmicky advice there would be, but it's like, oh, how to draw an owl or how to draw a face. And they tell you a very prescriptive way of how to draw a face. You'll see this everywhere. How to draw an anime face or something like that. And now you follow that advice. It helps you generate more artwork, but it actually keeps you weak because now you're not thinking like an artist. You're not thinking with that discerning eye. When you look at an object, all of a sudden you think face and you draw the prescriptive face rather than looking at it and seeing the shapes and seeing the lines and stuff like that. So that's the advice. That's the example that came to me just now. I haven't done art in a long time. Like it's just sitting in the corner there. But yeah, that's something that would propel you forward in terms of action, but not actually make you grow. And then there's a third advice, which for me, I would want this advice the most, where it inspires you to take action, take more action, but it also helps you grow, also helps you see more like a master, someone with mastery, right? So that's the third kind of advice. And if you can find the advice that helps you move in that direction, that's the best advice. Not necessarily because the advice is the best, but because you received it the best. It's actually helping you grow. It's actually helping you progress in a way that, if I continue with the artist example, the advice that would help an artist grow and propel more action would be kind of like the how to do the anime face or whatever, how to draw a face. But instead of teaching you a very prescriptive way of doing it, it would teach you like, hey, okay, here's the important part to draw. Like here's the chin right here, and here's the lip, and here, anime has a very simplified style. So you take you look at the subject and follow the darkest part of the lip, and that's what your lip kind of looks like. And maybe that's not so anime anymore, but it would help you build those fundamentals. Like, hey, for the eye, draw the pupil and draw this part of the eye that's sticking out, boop, boop, like that. And then you can actually ignore a lot of this extra information right here. And when you draw the eyebrow, you stylize it, get the big shape, and those kind of things help you build towards something that trains your mind's eye. It goes into other other parts of your craft. It builds you up, and it doesn't put you in a little hole that you have to now dig yourself out of. Does that make any sense? So that's my that's my idea of the different kinds of advice you can receive. For me, I personally received advice on how to have more engaging videos. It's like you have to do this. You have to get the hook, make the hook real exciting. You have to talk a certain way. You have to do certain things with your body and look into the camera and all this kind of stuff. And all it did was make the videos not fun to make. It made the videos harder to do. It created a lot of resistance, and so I would make less videos. I haven't been posting anything, so whatever. But it would just make everything harder. There's more resistance, and so we're trying to lower that resistance, not raise it, because it's already hard enough as it is. So I'm not receiving the advice well, just drop it. If it's advice that I receive and it helps me grow, then great. If it's advice that I receive and it shoves me in a hole and keeps me weak, then I drop it, get out of the hole, try something else, right? Let me know if this video helped you in any way. Let me know what you think in the comments below on this topic of receiving advice, what kind of advice works, stuff like that. If you have anything to add to the video, also leave that in the comments below. And if this helps someone in your life that, you know, if you think it'll help somebody that you know, go ahead and share it. So if you're trying to improve yourself with advice that you've received, go ahead and give it that audit. Is it helping you? Is it stopping you completely in your tracks? Do you think it's helping you, but it's only teaching you in a very limited kind of way? Give it that audit. Really think about whether the advice is good for you. So I hope this video helped you today, and I'll see you guys next time.